So I'm going to say something that you're just going to go, duh, which is one of the most crucial things to realize is that any work that you do on yourself happens in the moment. I told you, you're going to say, duh, where else is it going to happen, right? So let me explain. So, how often have you had a trigger, an uncomfortable moment, something coming up, maybe even you're talking to somebody, a dream, right? And you go, oh, yeah, I need to work on that, right? Or, oh my gosh, that was intense. I need to journal about it. Oh my gosh, I need to do a meditation about it. Right. Oh, I should sit with that, right? None of that is wrong. That's amazing, right? If you do that, you're halfway there because you're acknowledging something really true, something that really is important and real that needs to be addressed, right? How many people don't even do that? Um, so if you're there, you're halfway there. So let me tell you how to get to the other half so that you actually get to the work. So, of course, you're going to do those things. You're going to do the meditation, you're going to do the activation, you're going to journal, all the things. But when you do them, that's when you'll be doing the work in that moment, not in this one. So, anytime that you end up telling yourself, oh, this triggers old news, or I need to like focus on the positive. How many of us do that, right? Uh, or if you even say those things I just mentioned, like I'm going to journal about it later, I'm going to sit with this later, I'm going to meditate on this later, right? That is your ego trying to kick the can down the road. Now, granted, there are reasons why you can't do the work in the moment, right? Which is you're driving, you're dealing with whatever, you're at work, all true, right? I'm not at all minimizing any of that or negating any of that. What I'm saying is that that is still a way where you get to kick the can down the road. You get to avoid it a little bit for a little while. Your ego gets to go, okay, we don't have to work on this right now, right? So inner work requires you to understand. This is true across the board for every single person who is born into a body. You have to understand that your ego is a trickster. If you are somewhere in there right now saying, yeah, 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 I know, that's your ego right there saying, oh, I already know that. You don't have to look at this right now. No, it's so important to understand your ego is going to try to trick you out of that moment when you can actually do the work. A lot of times people don't end up doing the work until their deathbed, or if at all, or at least acknowledging that they have work to do, or a plant medicine journey when it's like you've spent thousands of dollars getting into a retreat and traveling and all this stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, fine, I guess I'll face myself now with the help of the plant medicine that opens you up and you are less resistant, where your ego is kind of moved aside a little bit. But that's what it does, right? It is designed, it thinks it's protecting you. So we're not at all shaming the ego, we're not demonizing it. It was born to protect you, to give you a structure, to give you a sense of self, right? And it still thinks it's protecting you, right? So anytime you say to yourself any of these things of like, yeah, okay, I'll think about that later, right? You don't have to do anything in that moment. And we all have free will. You don't have to listen to this video either, you know? But understand that there is a trickster at work. And if you befriend the trickster, and if you don't have to be like, ego, get out of here, right? You can be like, oh, thanks, ego. I get it. I see what you're doing there. I'm gonna go a different way. And it's not always pleasant and it's not always fun, but the most productive thing you can do is go, what can I do in this moment right now? Right now, when I feel the fear, what is this fear telling me? Am I making up a story that can be dismantled right here and right now? You can dismantle your old beliefs and your old systems. Yes, they're wired in, and that's why it takes moment to moment work in repetition, in consistently addressing this. But you can dismantle a belief in the moment as it comes up. You're like, oh, this person's going to leave me, or I'm going to go broke and be homeless or whatever. Well, how do you know? How do you know any of that's going to happen? You don't. Your ego tries to come up with some kind of certainty. This is another really, really important teaching here, that your ego wants certainty, whether that certainty is pleasant or terrible. Think about that, really. Your ego doesn't care whether the certainty sucks or if it's amazing. In fact, it doesn't matter. It's going to create the worst of the worst so that you can avoid being hurt, which is why it tends to pick the crappy stuff. How come we don't say, "Oh man, I might make $1 million." Oh, right? No, we don't worry about that, right? We worry about going broke. We worry about being abandoned. So sit with this. Take a moment. Take a moment right here with me, right? Where is your ego saying right now, oh, yeah, that's a good thing. I'll think about it later. Right? I tell you, it's a moment to moment thing. I work on this all the time where my mind wants to rush off with a story. I'm like, oh, I'm doing that thing. Okay, okay. Can I come back? Can I come back right here into the moment? What is the story right now? Is there a story right now? Or is it just that I'm sitting with the unknown and my ego really doesn't like that? Do you see where I'm getting at? I hope this makes sense. Take a moment and acknowledge that your ego wants to help you and isn't. Usually it isn't helping you. Usually it's just trying to tie some sort of bow onto a story that is incomplete. And it makes you narrow down your experience, even if it's to a crappy moment and crappy feeling. It's trying to narrow it down so that there is certainty, even if that certainty sucks. So I will leave you with this. Let's take a breath. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.